Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As we mentioned earlier in the beginning of this edition of the Breakfast Show, we said that we'll be tackling a very important topic. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi paid a historic visit to South Sudan, where he met with South Sudan's President Salva Kiir and his Vice President Riek Machar, and he was received by the South Sudanese President at the airport. And during the visit, the two presidents held an Egyptian-South Sudanese summit, and they discussed various important topics relating to the relations between Egypt and South Sudan. In order to shed more light, we're very much honored to have with us Dr. Ahmed Garhi, Assistant Professor and Expert of International Relations. Good morning to you, Dr. Ahmed.
Good morning.
Now, first, how do you see the importance of the visit by President Assisis to South Sudan now?
Well, it's historical. It's the first ever of an Egyptian president to visit South Sudan since independence, and it comes in a very critical time for the situation in East Africa. So I see this visit as a message that Egypt is still willing to have the upper hand in Africa, especially in the strategic part of the Nile River. So being there, accompanied by a lot of Egyptian businessmen and people from different areas like education, peace and security, of course, irrigation and agricultural affairs. So it's very important to have this in the at that time, especially that we all know that the grand dam of Renaissance, the Ethiopian one, is the hottest topic in the region, and being there is definitely a very strong message.
Yes.
So
Yes.
hopefully all the topics discussed in the summit will get us what we want.
This is what I was going to ask you now. The summit talks held by President Assisis and his South Sudanese counterpart tackled various important topics. In your own opinion, what were the most important ones?
Well, there were issues related to peace building process in South Sudan, issues related to cooperation in different areas like education, agriculture and irrigation, and of course attracting foreign direct investment to South Sudan, especially that Egypt is currently ranked #2 in attracting FDIs in Africa. So there's a room for cooperation in this area. Mainly the visit was focusing on the cooperation on long-term basis between the two countries,
yes,
and of course cutting the road on other international parties to play this role. Egypt has always been the key player in the region.
Yes.
And in the past few years, probably Egypt was not playing that role as it used to be, but now it's going on the pathway again.
Yes.
And peace building process in South Sudan started, of course, after the independence, and there were talks between the rebels and the South Sudanese government, and actually that was let's call it sponsored by the Egyptian government, and a key role was played over there behind the scenes, of course, and this opens the door for further cooperation. We know that South Sudan was under sanctions by many international organizations, and Egypt is trying to moderate the process. And this is giving, let's call it, trust between the Egyptian government and the South Sudanese government. And of course, those things are how international relations are run. So we check what are the common grounds that we could build on, One major international thing was Alexandria University. The official agreement was signed between the two governments that we will have a branch officially of Alexandria University to be the first outside Egypt and Sudan. We know historically that in
Cairo
Sudan,
University was in Sudan.
Exactly.
In Khartoum
Exactly.
for a very long
ages.
time. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is the first time even to go beyond.
Yes.
So now we are reaching far more in the African depth.
Yes.
So this is a very important
This is all
milestone.
part, Dr. Ahmed, of the role Egypt is playing in the African continent in general and in South Sudan in particular. As you said, Egypt has started a new chapter of relations in various domains with so many African countries, and the recent visit by President Sisi to South Sudan marks an important step on this path. So you talked to me about political relations and the role Egypt played behind the scenes in quelling the rebellion in South Sudan, and the economic aspect in lifting the sanctions, also the cultural and educational aspect by inaugurating the Alexandria University in South Sudan. All these efforts are part of huge efforts exerted by Egypt to help South Sudan and other African countries. By the way, also Egypt sent a medical team from the Ministry of Health to 3 African countries, including South Sudan. They were Chad, Eritrea, and South Sudan, to eliminate hepatitis C and to convert its experience in eliminating hepatitis C to Africans and to these countries in particular. The Egyptian medical team was examining the patients and offering the treatment for free in those areas. So I believe it's a comprehensive plan covering all relations.
Indeed, and this is something very important in planning the cooperation between countries. So recently we have seen Dr. Hala Said being recognized
Yes.
as the best minister in the Arab region.
Yes.
This gives you an insight of how things are being done, either inside Egypt or outside it. So in this file of the Egyptian South Sudanese relations, so many areas of cooperation were planned to be there in the file. As we mentioned, the healthcare, the education, economic SMEs, and even in the field of startups and entrepreneurship.
I want you to elaborate on that because
Yeah.
you're also in that field, so I want you to elaborate on that.
Yeah, the thing is, we in Egypt, we are really in an advanced level compared to other countries in the region
When
and
it
even in
comes
the
to
Middle
SMEs
East.
and entrepreneurship.
Exactly. We have a real leap in the past few years. So and you can see this through the events held in Egypt,
Yes.
where it attracts people from all over the region. And this is something that was not there in the beginning. This used to be mainly in Dubai, sometimes in KSA, but in the past few years, the rules of the
taking its
game
place.
exactly are changing, and then we are leading the game again. So in this regard, I was a part of an initiative a few years ago to cooperate with Uganda in the field of startups and transferring our technological knowledge to African countries. In Egypt, we have a huge chance to lead the whole continent in terms of technology-based solutions and transferring all manual operations and putting them into a dynamic technological mode. So in this regard, we have so many edges that we can, and I believe we'll see this in the upcoming few months. Experts from the IT field and experts from the entrepreneurship ecosystem will be traveling on regular basis to South Sudan because it's an emerging market and it's a very good kickstart where you can transfer your knowledge to South Sudanese people over there, especially that for most of the countries that are already taking the lead in this regard, this part of the world is not of high interest for them.
Yes.
But for us, it's a different story.
Of course.
Yeah. So there is a training program specially designed for the South Sudanese market, and probably by next summer, you will see so many people from South Sudan coming to Egypt, and trainers and experts from Egypt traveling to South Sudan in this part. And there are actually so many applications in terms of education, irrigation and agricultural issues. Those applications will be transferred over there, and I believe the Egyptian flavor will have its impact like very soon. We call it in business like quick wins. People over there will be able to see the difference in very few months, and I think this is a very smart move. And personally, I was invited before coronavirus spread to go there as part of this initiative, but things has been delayed. But I believe after this visit, inshallah, things will go back on track. So probably within 2-3 months maximum, we will be starting the kickoff over there. And next time we meet, we'll have solid results to talk about, inshallah.
I'm so looking forward to that. And I'm so energized by your enthusiasm towards that, because there has been, we could say, stress by the Egyptian government on youth, the Egyptian youth and African youth in general. And that's why Egypt hosted so many youth forums, hosting Africans, especially entrepreneurs and young businessmen, to share expertise and to bring together the Egyptian and the African businessmen and young entrepreneurs together to enrich their experiences in the African continent in general. So how do you see the role of youth in the upcoming period, since you talked to me about all these huge efforts?
Let me take an example from the educational perspective.
Okay.
We have a lot of startups working on digitalizing the educational process and the learning experience in general.
Yes.
So this is a very important weapon in your outreach. Egyptian developers, by the way, are ranked around the world. I have many of my students working in big companies / startups in the biggest countries in the world, in Germany, in France, in Switzerland, in America, in Canada, and Dubai, and they are actually taking the lead over there. They are all Egyptian, completed their education in Egypt, and even their post-grad studies in Egypt, and now they are taking the lead in these companies. So we have so many platforms that are related to education, are already running in the Egyptian market, and at this point it's very easy to transform this over there. You just need adjustment, which is like the easiest part of the process. You have done the job,
the hardest
and now
part.
Exactly, and now we are just in the adjustment part. So what took us here 4 or 5 years could very simply be transformed into actual results over there in less than 1 year.
Yes.
And this is the magic of technology, and all these things are done 100% by Egyptian youth. A part of the initiative of Uganda, it was actually not Uganda alone, it was Uganda and Sudan as well. There were actually cooperations in different areas in this regard. But the best thing for me about it is that all the development and the programming was done here in Egypt, and then they take final product.
Okay.
So yeah, and this is something that they really appreciate because it is tailored, ready-made for use.
Who do we mean by they?
I mean our brothers in
Target,
the African,
yes.
yeah, exactly, in African countries.
Yes.
So now we can say that we have contributed in the development of these countries, in educating people over there, and in leveraging their level, and even taking it far beyond. The highest level of training was in the back office. How to even develop programs and mobile apps and do the platforms. So they really can feel the difference, because these initiatives has been there for approximately 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
And now we have a generation. It's not so big, but we can call it a generation of developers and back office administrators. We could say it, or we can market it as made in Egypt.
Yes.
They were trained here or there, 100% by Egyptian youth. So the forums, either the World Youth Forum or the African forums conducted here in Egypt, the outcome start to be there on surface in the upcoming few years, and this is the most important thing in the whole process, is that they feel that they made something with Egypt.
Yes. So we're talking here that we are taking this strategic relationship from the governmental level to the people level, people to people level.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's why they started over there contacting Egyptian experts in different areas directly,
yes,
from people to people, after the governmental paving the road, let's call it.
Of course, of course. You talked to me also about Egypt's role in achieving peace and stability in South Sudan. Would you shed more light on that?
Well, the whole region in the past few years was definitely unstable and is still.
Yes.
In Ethiopia, in South Sudan, in Sudan, and in Eritrea. So Egypt, as a leader in the peace building processes, I know some stuff from behind the scenes. There were envoys from Egypt to prepare and to lead the process between the rebellions and the government, and the latest agreement signed was actually by Egyptian efforts big deal.
Yes.
And in the upcoming few months as well, there will be more talks to reach a final agreement, because the security process, or the peace building process in South Sudan and in Sudan in particular, is definitely a part of our national security.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, and that's why we have huge focus on this regard,
and strategic interests in
exactly,
this,
and
yes,
engaging different parties in economic activities. This is the key word in this regard.
Yes. I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Ahmed Garhi, Assistant Professor and Expert of International Relations. Thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us in this segment of The Breakfast Show. But yet, more to come after a short break. Stay tuned.